What's up everybody, Chris here from Bold Canyon Outdoors, and today I want to talk to you about something you might not always think of when it comes to recovery gear, and that is snatch block maintenance. So let's take a look, and we're going to dig into the snatch block and show you how easy it is to maintain one of the most important parts of your recovery gear kit. Welcome back. Let's talk snatch block maintenance. So I was speaking with somebody the other day who had one of our GearAmerica 9-ton snatch blocks. They were doing a recovery and they were in mud. And this mud he described as like pancake batter. So it was really slimy, not super thick, and he had to go run out a winch line, jump across this mud pit where the vehicle was stuck. Lo and behold, he dropped his 9-ton snatch block. Now I'm going to talk to you about maintaining a snatch block, tearing it down, doing some basic maintenance, and this actually applies to all of GearAmerica's snatch blocks because they're all built with the same 6-part construction. But we're going to talk about the 9-ton because that's the one that he specifically dropped in the mud. Now, I don't know about you, but I've dropped shackle pins, I've dropped tools, all kinds of stuff in the mud, and that is an absolutely sinking feeling. Pun intended, but he dropped his 9-ton snatch block directly into about 1.5 to 2 feet of deep, like I said, pancake batter style mud, and boop, it was gone. So it sat in there for a while he fished around and dug it out. And sure enough, when he got it out, it was completely caked inside and out, inside the pulley, everything with mud. So his primary concern was getting it cleaned and lubed and making sure that everything, all the grit and grime was out of it before he used it again, because he uses his 9-ton with this synthetic winch line. And as you know, synthetic winch line, when you get enough grit and grime in it, especially if you don't keep it clean and maintained, it can wear it out a heck of a lot faster. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how this breaks down. What you're going to need to take this apart is a 7mm socket and some snap ring pliers. So let's dig right into it. All right, for as useful a tool as it is, there really isn't that much to a snatch block. You've got a couple of plates, a pulley, a pin running right through the middle, a Zerk fitting, and a C-clip. So to take this apart, we're just going to do it in steps. First thing I want to do is I want to take off one of the C-clips. So I've got my C-clip pliers here. Now you can do this with a screwdriver, you can do this with any number of tools, but the C-clip pliers make it the easiest. So we just pop that guy off and hold it so it doesn't go zinging across the room. But there is the C-clip, or Circlip, depending on who you talk to. Now, the plate will come off, the pulley will come off, and look at that, there's grit and grime in this one already. The other C-clip, there we go, set that aside. Then this plate comes off, and you've got the entire axle loose here. Next, I want to take a 7mm wrench, and I'm going to take out the Zerk fitting. Now, this isn't in here super tight, so you don't need to crank it down one way or the other. And normally you wouldn't have to take this out. But the concern from the gentleman that I talked to was he was worried about getting grit and grime down into this hole where the grease goes. So essentially, you want to take this apart, take everything out, and then in a worst case scenario, if you need to blow this out, you can put like an air fitting in here and blow everything out this little hole right here. Because when you grease it, it fills this little drum up with grease and goes through this channel. That way, this pulley is nice and lubricated to spin while you've got a winch line on it. So there you have it. That is the entire snatch block broken down into pieces. Now, I know I said it's 6 pieces, but it's actually 7 because there are 2 clips on it. But you've got your plates, you've got your pulley, you've got the main shaft here, which is actually a barrel that holds grease in it to lubricate along this little line here. Your Zerk fitting, and of course, the clips holding it all together. So once you've got it all torn down, you're going to want to wipe all this out, clean the inside of the pulley, clean the outside of the pulley, and this is also a good time to check for burrs that might have gotten in it. Like say you got a piece of sand or gravel stuck in it, Or maybe you use it on synthetic line, but you loaned it to a buddy and they used a steel cable on it and it put any marring in it. So you can take some fine sandpaper or a file or whatever and make this smooth again, and that way you're not going to do any damage. But to get this cleaned in the channel, get it cleaned in the center, clean it all out. Then of course clean this plate. And then we're going to clean the whole barrel off. So you're going to want to take some degreaser or even some soap and water and clean this off inside and out. And like I said, you can always put an air fitting down inside there and blow everything out of this little barrel. That's just in case you get some of that really soupy, runny, pancake batter style mud and it makes its way into here, because you don't want any grit and grime in there. Any little bit of mud, any little bit of sand, anything like that that gets inside here is it's going to eventually get into the pulley and make it so it doesn't spin as nicely, possibly putting a lot of extra wear on it, which you really don't want with any of your recovery gear. So once you've got it all clean, we can put it back together. So we'll take one plate and we'll fit it in the hole here. Grab one of the clips and secure that back on. Next, we can flip it over. Take the pulley, slip it onto the main shaft here. Take your other plate, set it back on, and once again, take your C-clip pliers, put that clip back on. Then we'll take our Zerk fitting, put that in place. And with our 7mm socket, which I'm just going to go ahead and take off the socket wrench to make it easier, we'll get that tightened down. Now you always want to make sure this is not cross-threaded. Make sure it goes in nice and easy all the way to where it seats. And once it's seated down, just give it a gentle turn. Now you may have to hold the back of it because it'll spin this, but you don't want to crank this down. You don't want to put a ton of torque on it. So give it a gentle tighten and you're good to go. Now you can put your grease fitting on here, put some grease back in that little barrel on the main shaft, and your 9-ton snatch block is good to go and ready for a lifetime of use. So that's it. Pretty simple, right? Taking care of your gear is a snap. This is a really easy way to make sure this snatch block is going to last you forever. Tear it down, clean it up, put it back together, you're rocking and rolling. Sometimes a snatch block hasn't come out of a box or a bag for a very, very long time. And then you get one that's dirty like this in the inside and you haven't even used it. So definitely take a look at it, clean it out. Even if you want to take a hose to it, hose the thing out and then re-grease it. That's better than nothing. So maintaining your gear, keeping it clean is going to make sure it's going to treat you right every time you need it. You never want to be surprised when you pull out some gear and all of a sudden it's just not going to work for you because you haven't maintained it over the years. So hopefully this helps you if you ever happen to drop your snatch block in pancake batter mud, or it's just dirty, needs a little bit of love and a little bit of cleaning. It's easy to do, takes basic tools, and you can do it in about 5 minutes. Now, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, definitely leave them below. Be glad to hear from you. And do me a favor, if you like this video and you like what we have to offer, please consider subscribing. But that's it for now. For Bold Canyon Outdoors, this is Chris signing off. Happy trails, everybody.